Hello and welcome to Bahrain Now, your source of local initiatives, happenings, talents, and trends from around the Kingdom of Bahrain. I'm your host, Khalid Idris, here to walk you through our exciting lineup of segments and personalities. So stay tuned and we'll be back with more. More than 70 passionate student filmmakers poured their hearts and their creativity onto the silver screen during groundbreaking new festival designed to spotlight their talent. The inaugural Student Film Festival recently took place at Sinico Oasis Mall Jaffair, complete with a red carpet event and an awards ceremony. The festival was initiated and organized by Bahrain Polytechnic student Sayed Mujtaba Hassan, who recognized the need for a platform where aspiring filmmakers across Bahrain could showcase their work, connect with industry professionals, and contribute to the growth of the kingdom's film industry. And to talk more about that, we are pleased to be joined here at the studio by the Student Film Festival organizers, Sayed Mujtaba Hassan and Hassam El Balushi. Welcome, how are you both doing today?
We're doing great.
It's really great to have you guys here. Now, can you start by telling us what inspired you to create the Student Film Festival?
Well, the inspiration to make the Student Film Festival Bahrain originally came from my own experience as a filmmaker and film student. You see, we would pour so much dedication and passion into making films, only for it to be screened once in class, and that's it. It felt like we wanted a bigger platform. We needed feedback. We need more people to watch it, so we get the feedback we need to improve. And in addition to that, ever since when I started my journey in filmmaking, I couldn't help but notice there was a gap in the filmmaking community in Bahrain. I wanted to see people connect and collaborate more, especially when it comes to students and industry professionals. Like, the students don't know who are the industry professionals, and the industry professionals don't know who the students are. So it felt like it's time that we make something like this to make opportunity for the new generation of students, so they can collaborate, get together, and hopefully make more films, greater films that make us proud. And we're just giving them the platform, and the rest is on them.
Absolutely, and I think it's really great to see as well that you took that initiative to kind of look at where the gap is, and then because film is very collaborative by nature,
yes,
it's teamwork, right? And it's all focused on bringing that vision to life, you know. So it's like, if you don't know how do you grow as someone involved in film? How do you get new ideas? And it's a very complicated process. I'm aware of that much.
It's all about collaboration in filmmaking.
Absolutely, and. You know, we have the advantage in the Kingdom of Bahrain that we are a tight-knit community by nature. That's a sort of part of our culture. So it's really great to see you take that and then translate it into the film industry as well. And speaking of bringing ideas to life, I mean, how did this go from a concept into reality? What did that journey look like?
So first of all, I would like to thank Mujtaba. He made a call. He called me, Hassam, there is an idea. We are thinking of making a student film festival to give back to our community, from students to students. So I was very happy. I was like, okay, I think we can make something happen. We can do something. We can give back to our colleagues, to our students, to our friends. So we gathered so much ideas, so much concepts, so many meetings, and then once we start working on them, step by step, slowly, we can see okay, everything is coming together. And with the support of everyone, our friends, some industry professionals, we could make it possible. And yeah, that's how I think our journey went.
Brilliant. And on that note, what did it feel like when you finally saw this concept come to life in front of you at Sinico in Oasis Mall?
Felt great.
It was amazing, especially when we saw the students' reaction. Most of them, or all of them, it's their first time getting their film screened in a big screen in cinema. So it was a very proud moment for us, and for us to see them happy, to see them proud. They brought their families, they brought their friends to show them this is what we created. As we all mentioned before, Before it was only screened in the university, in the classes only. So when they got the motivation and when they got appreciated, I can guarantee now so many other students are working on their stories, working on their scripts to participate in such event like that. And like we are very happy to see them like working, because it will reflect on all of us as a community.
Absolutely, and you both should be, because at the end of the day, there's nothing, I mean, I suppose you guys know this better than I do. I mean, I imagine there's nothing more rewarding for an artist to be able to share their art, and especially in a platform like that, where, like you said, they can get feedback, they can get appreciation for all of that hard work, and you know, the opportunities to show it to their families, and in such a glamorous kind of venue as well. I mean, it gives them a taste of what might come next. So I think that's absolutely incredible, and I think it's great as well that it's such an open event. It is entertainment, and it is at the same time a little nudge into the industry as well. So I think that was brilliantly executed. Now tell us a bit more about the red carpet event and the award ceremony. What made those special?
So the red carpet event wasn't only about taking fancy photos. It was more of a networking opportunity. It was a space for connection and sparking new ideas, projects being born. And the award ceremony, we mainly had two purposes for making it. The first purpose is that we show the recognition for the filmmakers who worked very hard to produce their films, to show them that we see your work and your work is appreciated. And at the same time, it's even the students and the filmmakers who didn't get awards. It's inspiration. We're giving them a reason that, okay, this is, you work hard and we will recognize your work. If you show us your talent, in the end, you're gonna get recognized by it. And I think it's all about friendly competition. If we spark competition, this is how the community thrive. We push each other. We try to be better. And honestly, I think we need more competition in Bahrain.
Absolutely. I think, like, to touch on what I said earlier, the fact that we're a very tight-knit community, I think, is a really great it's a really great platform for healthy competition. And, you know, we all need that motivation. And I think competition is one of those things that, you know, in any other context, it can kind of go topsy-turvy. But I think in a place like Bahrain, and again, because everybody goes in with the same goal. And film is not, I mean, especially with film, it's very subjective.
Yes.
And I think there's always going to be the potential, you know, for a hit, and then on the flip side, you know, there's a potential for a flop. Yes, so, but you know, it's great to be in that very safe environment where everyone can come together. They have that same passion, and you know that any advice you're going to get is going to come from a place of genuine passion, interest, and a hope to actually, you kind of want more competition, so you can be tested. Because everyone I know who's involved in film is always looking to be pushed, right? Like, they actually welcome that opportunity. So again, I mean, really kudos to you. And then also, like you said, giving them that recognition, because I think it's always good to get recognized for what you're doing, especially, like, I understand that a lot of effort goes into film, right? True. It is a collaboration, and then again, you just get to, it pushes you psychologically as well as physically.
Yes.
And now on that note, were there any standout films or moments that particularly moved you guys?
First of all, when we saw the movies for the judging panel, even the judges were very surprised. Like, there is a variety of movies. From the technical part, they were very great quality movies. The quality was amazing. The stories were amazing. So, like, every film or every short film will tell you their story. It shows how the team went through, what the team went through to create that good quality movie. So, like, seeing all these together, like, we can know, like, okay, there is a great future coming from the student films. I mean, the film students. There is a good future, like, and we wanted to bridge the gap between them and the industry professionals. So the judges were the industry professionals, actually. So they were very surprised. And they were like, okay, in our time, when we were in this age, we couldn't make anything even close to this quality, or this, in this quality, for example. So yeah, I mean, that actually gave us a push, like, okay, like, we can do even more. Even the students themselves, when they met the industry professionals on the screening day, they were surprised. Okay, they are now, I'm sure that they are connecting to each other and making good stories that they will work on in the future.
What stood out for me mainly was honestly the volunteers at the end of the event. يعني they believed in the ideas, the volunteers. They worked tirelessly for this idea without expecting anything in return. And it just shows that when you're working on something that is bigger than yourself, people want to support you. People want to be part of it. And everyone wants to be a part of something for the community. If you make something meaningful for the community, the community gives you back in the most beautiful way.
Absolutely. And again, we always go back to this, but again, film is collaborative.
Exactly.
And it goes beyond, just the cast and the crew, and it is something, even the experience of viewing it. And like you said, when you brought in the judges, I like that, they were industry professionals as well,
Yes.
because at least that means that the feedback and the selection process, is going to be, that task is given to the people with the most insight as well. So whatever feedback or whatever criteria, it's just, it really shows how much of your passion you guys have poured into this. And I'm really glad that it turned out the way that it did. And I'm happy that even the volunteers were giving it their all. And now speaking about the criterias and everything, what was the criteria for the participation or for the awards?
So first of all, the students were they should be Bahraini residents, and they have to be students in any university in Bahrain. That is the first criteria. And the second criteria was it has to be something showcaseable. It has to be in good quality, technical-wise, audio-wise, image-wise. And yeah, that was it. We tried to make it as easy as possible for the students so we can get lots of applications and showcase the most talent that we can.
Great. And with something this large and this magnanimous, really, you guys can't really do anything alone, right? I mean, I appreciate that this is something that has so many multiple facets to it. Could you give us a little breakdown about what your team was like? Who had what responsibilities?
Well, when I started the idea, I knew that to bring it to life, I couldn't do it alone. I needed a capable team. I needed to work with people that know things that I don't know, have more experience, and great work enthusiasm. The first person who joined the team was my classmate Ali Bousaleh. He has great work ethics. He works more than anyone. So he was the first person to call. I'd be like, I don't know what you're gonna do right now, but I need you to be with me in the team. And then he showed amazing skills in logistic management. Then we had Marwa Zainuddin and Dima Walid. They joined us, and for unforeseen circumstances, they couldn't continue, but they left their own mark, and they continued to support and contribute in the festival. Abdullah Riqi, he's a recent Polytechnic graduate. He was our designer. He was the creative director of the event. Hassam Leblouchi, he was our technical manager. Just everything technical was where's Hassam? Ibrahim Saleh, our execution manager, and Yusuf Hussein, he was handling all the money stuff, so we can focus more on the creative and how we can facilitate the event.
Wonderful. That sounds like a great team.
It
You've got everyone for everything. And I like what you said. You knew there were certain things that you didn't understand, because I think when you want to achieve something of this scale, right, you kind of have to know when to admit that there are certain things that you don't know what to do.
There were
and yeah, I can imagine, because especially with something like event management, there is so much to it. You've given me a great rundown of the team, but let's talk a little bit beyond that. Let's talk about the ecosystem that you were in. So what was the support given by, for example, Bahrain Polytechnic itself, and then the wider community as well?
The support we got from Bahrain Polytechnic was the moral support. They were encouraging this kind of event. Our tutors, they were there in the time of the event. We had Ms. Zainab Al-Aradi. She encouraged me from the beginning to be working on this. And from the wider community, like every person that we tell about the idea, they always welcomed it with so much enthusiasm and positivity, and everyone was like, if there is anything we can do, just let us know. And that was great, that it's not only us the ones are believing in this idea. And honestly, the sponsors, they really put faith on us, and they bet that we can, even though we're students, we could deliver. Our sponsors were Limefish. They designed how our visual identity. We have alumni club. They provided us the locations for the judging jury, and the workshops. Masaha, they provided us with a competition that comes after the festival, where scripts would be submitted and the best script would be produced by them fully. We have Seneco. Seneco were a great contribution. We held the main festival events in their screens. Luna Sign, they give us a great coverage video that we can show in the future, and will help us promote it even more. And our partner and our main sponsor, Scenario, that really was the backbone of our event. They helped us monetarily, and they were with us in every step we make.
Thank you so much for telling us about like the community as well and their involvement. And you've mentioned a little bit about sponsors now. So can you tell us a bit more about any partnerships you had with like local filmmakers or industry professionals?
Well, we only could do this through the guidance of advisors and local industry professionals. We didn't invent the wheel. We built on the advice we got. For example, we had great advice from Iman Al-Sabah, Hamad Abdallah, and Hashim Sharaf, who were our main advisors. And also the judges, the judging jury, John Leblouche, Mohamed Fakhro, and Ali Asbai, who helped us curate the films and program and pick the right films to be screened and win the awards.
It's really heartening to see that there's a bridged gap, you know, between every aspect of the community, whether it's like the sponsors as well, who have obviously contributed so much to this event and really believed in it, and everyone from the ground up, you know. Again, it just goes to show that there is a huge passion for film in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and a lot of belief in the capabilities of the people in Bahrain, whether they're residents or citizens. And I think that that's one of the best things about this country, is that anyone really has the opportunity to shine. You just need to have the passion and the courage to basically go forward with it, because I think anywhere else, if you had an idea like that, I mean, obviously it's doable, but in the Kingdom of Bahrain, you will find so much support, you know, yes. And you brought everything together so beautifully. And now I'm sure though that, you know, with anything this big, right, like it isn't going to be smooth sailing 100% of the time. There are going to be a few hiccups along the way. So yes. Do you want to share any challenges you guys faced and how you guys overcame them?
Well, mainly our most challenge was, again, the sponsors. Having an idea that is this big and the team being students was a bit difficult to sell to the sponsors. We sent countless emails, and we didn't get the responses we need. The most, like the key sponsors we just mentioned, were only gathered around a month before the event, which really put us in a hard situation. We have to get everything ready in 1 month. And that was the most difficult thing, honestly. And also, of course, I mean, like managing an event this big, it has a lot of unexpected, like as you said, hiccups. And it's just, it teaches us how we deal with it and how we can push through, even though when it looks like it's not going anywhere.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you guys know this as well. We're both in similar fields, and sometimes unexpected stuff happens, and you just kind of need to learn how to roll with the punches.
Exactly.
And it's not always easy because in your mind you might be freaking out, and then you have to put on a calm face. And you're just kind of like,
Exactly.
yeah, okay. And then you just do whatever you can to make everything go back to as smooth as possible. But you know what? I think that it's a great skill to have, like regardless of what field you're in. So I mean, you know, at least you got to experience that and take that away. And speaking of, I mean, I'm sure you guys have both learned. Like obviously, I see two very confident and very capable people in front of me. But I'm sure you've learned a lot, both professionally and personally, from this experience. Is there anything you guys want to share from that?
First of all, personally, myself, I've learned so many communication skills that I have to communicate with the filmmakers to submit the right format of the film. And that taught me as well, that added so much technical skills to me as well. Like when I was behind the cinema, where the projectors are, I was talking to the technician and he was teaching me like, okay, I need this, I would need this format to be exactly in this number and this ratio. So I would have to go back and forth with the students. And that made me very close to the students as well as the technicians in the cinema. So that taught me so much technical skills. Yeah, that was it, I think, and meeting so much good students and learning from them, getting feedback, positive feedback from them about the festival itself. I think it adds so much.
Brilliant. And I think communication in particular, I think is one skill we really take for granted. Because it's very easy when you're just telling someone something, right?
True.
But if you actually want to communicate, like you said, you have these criterias and you have all of this technical stuff, and when you want to communicate it to someone, and sometimes you might see something as common sense, other people might not. And you know, it's a great skill to have, and I think particularly if you can do it in a field like this, where things can be very arbitrary sometimes, or sometimes like things have to be very specific. I think you're very good in that situation. I think now you're prepared for anything going forward.
I'm very prepared.
And how do you guys see this festival contributing to the film industry in Bahrain? What kind of impact do you think it's made so far?
Well, I think, honestly, I believe, and this is the reason I worked on this, I believe this is the beginning for something bigger. The Bahrain film industry has so much potential. We have so many stories that is waiting to be told. And just investing on the youth, investing in the students is just the way to start. Like now we're investing in these students. 5 years later from this festival, the students will be the leading force of Bahrain in filmmaking. And from this festival, we would see people who would make us proud, make Bahrain proud, that will present us in international festivals and will make projects that represent Bahrain generally.
It's really good to see how much that you guys have invested in not only taking a passion of yours and running with it, but also giving the opportunity for so many different people to really show what they've got. I think providing someone with a platform is one of those things that I think, you know, you'll be familiar with this concept that, you know, like sometimes like artists get like exposure instead of like their dues.
Yes, paid exposure.
But I think I think this is very different. This is exposure that is not only giving them an opportunity to learn and grow, but to network and to really make a splash in the local industry.
And motivate them as well, I think.
Absolutely, yeah, with stuff like awards and everything. And it gives them, you know, appreciation for their work, which I think is something that, you know, artists can have a very hard time receiving just because art is so subjective, right? You know, the unfortunate truth is that there are some people who will look at a film, for example, kind of be like, oh, well, anyone can pick up a camera.
True.
Not really understanding the nuances that goes behind it. You know what I mean? But it's great that you have that and you're giving people the opportunity to run with their ideas and to really get creative. And not only doing that, but also bringing together everyone from your classmates to companies and sponsors and everything, and really tying it together with a golden bow, right? Yeah. And what's the feedback been so far from participants, audience members, sponsors? What have they told you guys?
Our like First of all, okay, I will repeat that again.
Wait, 1 second. بس يبي يعيد الدي. تبي أسأل السؤال مرة ثانية؟ Oh, okay. So moving forward, let's talk about feedback. I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of great feedback. So what's been the feedback from like the audience, the sponsors, the participants? What have they been telling you guys?
So number one feedback that we got from the participants, that some of them are getting opportunities now. They are more motivated, much more motivated to write down scripts and shoot new projects that they can submit in other festivals, not only in Bahrain, but internationally. So we tried to give them a push. Like most of them, as I mentioned earlier, it's their first time their movie are getting screened. So
It's like a dream.
yeah, it's like a dream come true for them. They would take the same film after this. If there's a feedback, they will fix it, and they will apply it again to international events or higher scale events outside of GCC. So that's a big thing for us and for them as well. At the end of the day, like, if their success is our success. And one of the feedback I got today, like when I was mentioning the event for one of our friends in the industry, he was very happy. He was very surprised. Like, okay, how could you 5 guys or 6 guys only like did something this big? If we knew it earlier, we could have like collaborated with you guys more, and like in terms of technical things or let's say sponsoring. So we are still getting feedbacks. We are still getting good news from other people outside.
It's really great to see how people are responding to something. I mean, this was a huge risk, honestly. You know, I mean, again, something like this, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this a million times at this point, but something like this is not easy to pull off. And you guys have not only managed to pull it off, but you have managed to make waves. I mean, you're talking about people from even outside of Bahrain hearing about these movies and everything. This really shows that not only is this something you took beyond a concept behind closed doors to the local community, to the local industry, you've actually made it even outside of Bahrain. And you know, you were mentioning people want to collaborate in the future.
Yeah.
So let me ask this: is there going to be a next edition? Are you guys thinking of making the festival annual? What comes next?
This was the plan since the beginning. We're not trying to make some one-time fancy thing. We're playing the long game. Inshallah, it will be an annual thing, and we are already starting the planning and preparation for Student Film Festival Bahrain 2026. And hopefully it's going to be bigger and more ambitious, and there will be more opportunities. And hopefully we get to collaborate more with the community, with the sponsors, and better films. That's our hope, that every edition we have better and better and better films.
Inshallah. And I genuinely, I cannot wait to see how this develops, because I mean, if you've pulled off what you have from the first edition with limited knowledge, right? And now you have all of the feedback, you have all of the experience. I think slowly we're gonna start seeing some. I think the festival is going to become a huge thing, not only in the country but in the region, and inshallah maybe even globally.
Inshallah.
Just to finish off, what advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers or anyone who even wants to volunteer or get involved with the Student Film Festival?
In general, if I would give an advice is don't wait for permission to do something you want. If you feel like something has to be done, be the one to do it. Take the initiatives, make your own opportunities, don't wait for opportunities. If you start something, it would be very hard. You would be doing a lot of things that you don't want to be doing. You'll be like, what am I doing? But in the end, it's all worth it. If you work on something bigger than yourself, people, as I said, will gather around, and they would be supportive. And this is how you have revolutionary ideas. It's just you do something that nobody wants to do. Everyone can have ideas. Everyone can have ideas. By executing them and going through the trouble is really what makes you different, what makes your name on the map.
Would you like to add anything to that?
I would like to add, like, as they say, if there's a will, there's always a way. So it's very easy to say that, okay, I'm gonna make this film, I'm gonna make this idea. But what I believe is, like, everyone should start, just pick a camera, start learning how to tell a story, take one frame at a time, at least, and like slowly you will get where to somewhere where like okay, you will learn from each and every frame that you will take, and then like the sky's the limit.
You know, I just want to thank you both for having the courage, really, to take the steps to make this possible. Because what you have done is something I think that a lot of people are going to remember going forward in the future. And it's giving back to the community. It is giving people a platform. And I honestly hope that the next edition it will make splashes you didn't even think was possible. And I'd like to thank you guys as well for coming in for this chat. It has been incredible, you know, just hearing you both talk about your experience. And again, I wish you both all the best of luck for the next edition. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We have more coming up on Bahrain Now. And now Bahrain Now takes us beyond the studio in the following report.
Bahrain hosted launch of the World Investment Report 2025, focused on international investment and the digital economy. The MENA Center for Investment, in collaboration with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, hosted the Bahrain launch of the World Investment Report 2025.
Attending the World Investment Report launch for Bahrain, which I think is an important annual event, and thankfully telling us an encouraging story at a time when globally foreign direct investment is under a lot of pressure. Now, in Bahrain, of course, we saw a drop, but the levels are still historically quite high. So what we are seeing in this country, in the region as a whole, is quite an encouraging trend against these global headwinds, and hopefully a trend that will continue as these countries continue their economic transformation journey.
This year's report, titled International Investment in the Digital Economy, explores the growing importance of digitalization in shaping global investment flows. The report highlights key policy consideration for attracting digital investments and ensuring inclusive and sustainable development. The event concluded with an invitation for ongoing dialogue and cooperation among policymakers, development institutions, and private sector leaders to align investment strategies with the evolving demand on the digital economy.
And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of this episode. We thank you for watching, and as always, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. We love to hear from you. Until next time, this was Khalid Hijras. Good night and God bless.